Did I just really fall for a trap? Okay, Golden Kamuy, I don't like you right now. Like, yeah, that's pretty cruel. Like, when I see this, this character, and I just see the beautiful body, I'm like, yo, that's a nice female-looking character. She's thick and all that. I like it. But then I found out that this was an old man with a mole. I'm like, anime, why? Why? Why do you do this to me? Like, why do you do this to me? Come on now, like, it's been forever since I have fallen for a trap, and I just fell for a trap. Pretty angry with myself right now. Like, I'm not angry with Golden Kamuy, I'm more angry with myself for falling for it, because when I think about the track record of the story of Golden Kamuy, it has so many bizarre and weird villains, and I've already been forewarned on the fact that it's going to get weirder and weirder. I've been told this, and so, judging by what we have seen already with Nihei and all of that, and, you know, the recent, you know, person that, you know, got off to the fact that he was going to die brutally, I mean, I should have seen it coming. I honestly should have seen a trap coming, but, yeah, that, I fell for it. I admit I fell for a freaking trap. So anyways, this episode of Golden Kamuy was everything I love about the series. Oh yes, definitely. And the reason why is because it has crude humor like the boner jokes. It has, you know, the Invincible or whatever, the Undefeated, basically proving how OP he really is. Going through walls and buildings and all that. And his certain lines throughout this, like, oh my god, the man was so lustful. The way he acted towards the trap. And the way he's like, you know, I want you and all that. The face he gave that dude, I'm just like, really? Like, really, my dude? Just, like, there's so many funny moments throughout this episode, and serious moments, especially towards the end, when he had the event with, you know, how the Undefeated was talking to, you know, Shiraishi and all that, basically saying, dude, if you try to run away, Hichikata's gonna find you. If you do not keep us updated on your whereabouts, it's over for you. And I'm just like, that's pretty scary. So there was a lot of serious moments and funny moments, and it was constantly going back and forth, especially throughout the entire scene where they were running around. It was kind of like a big trap house trying to figure out what they need to do. I'm like, my god, is this like Rainbow Six Siege, trap house or whatever? Okay, jokes aside, okay? I mean, okay, one more joke. This serpent face. This serpent face is amazing. Like, yo, that face, that's thumbnail. That's thumbnail. Like, that is auto thumbnail because of the way that face is. I think I'm gonna put, I fell for a trap on it. We'll see. You'll see when the video is uploaded. But okay, jokes aside. So, this week's episode, we are introduced to the new villain of this arc. Someone that is controlling a murder hotel. Now, I'm not very familiar with, like, a bunch of, different, like, murders and stuff and, like, novels and all that, but I do believe, like, a murder hotel like this, what happened in this episode, is based off a famous piece of literature. I could be wrong, it might be Sherlock Holmes or something, I really don't know, but I know there's a famous piece of literature that has, like, a murder hotel house thing that we saw throughout this episode. I think there was some elements in Scooby-Doo. Now, I know many of you might not even watch Scooby-Doo or even have watched it in the past, but I know there was at least an episode that was inspired by, like, a murder house, so who knows? But I do believe that the villain's, like, location of what they were doing is basically inspired by some famous piece of literature. So that's pretty cool. I think that's a really cool tidbit. I don't know who by. If anyone does, you know, let me know in the comments below. But I do believe that's pretty cool just to mention. Now, the villain's motive, pretty weird, I say. Like, I mean, all the villains are pretty freaking weird, okay? But the weirdness of this villain isn't the weirdest I've ever seen, because someone wanting to eat the body parts of others to be able to retain their, you know, youth, this is something I've seen in other pieces of literature. It isn't something that is uncommon. Now, I know many of you are like, what have you been reading, Chibi? Look, I like a lot of horror stories and, you know, creepy stuff. I'm a big fan of that, okay? But, I mean, the whole stuff with how this dude was actually eating everybody's, like, body parts that the dude wanted, like, for instance, Usurper's eyes. She has beautiful eyes, which I have to say she does. Her eyes are straight up beautiful. basically, the dude wanted to eat Usurper's eyes because there was this belief that if you eat the body parts or certain things or creatures, then you will get that youth from them. For instance, if someone had beautiful looking eyes that looked youthful, then this dude wanted to eat them to make it to where his eyes would look very beautiful once again. And then basically if their skin looked beautiful, would eat their skin. It was a vast variety of things basically for this dude. He was hunting after a different variety of body parts just to be able to stay youthful. But we come to find out apparently the reason why the dude was able to stay like that or look like that was because of absurd amount of makeup. Basically makeup that was just, you know, making him look beautiful. Now there was a mentioning of him being a great doctor, so for all we know, it could be some form of extreme plastic surgery. I don't know if that will, you know, break the rules or common sense of the world, but either extreme plastic surgery, which we do know that the Undefeated, the dude with his rhino horn on his head, I don't even know what that is. Like, what the hell is going on there? Like, it's just like it's a biological mess when you see that. But, okay, jokes aside, get back on topic, though. Basically, we do find out that this guy is a genius doctor. So, for all we know, maybe he is taking the different body parts from individuals and, like, giving them to himself, plastic surgery or whatever, I don't know, but most likely, judging by the story we found out in this episode, most likely the dude's just straight up eating body parts to try to get the youth from them, and then putting makeup on to look very beautiful. Now, I don't know exactly why the dude wanted to dress up like a woman. I don't know if it's because that's actually him wanting to be a female. It was never properly established with this episode, and technically, when you look at the end of the episode after the ending song, most likely the dude is still alive, so there's still a lot more time for this character to get characterization and stick around in the story. So I highly doubt it's necessarily the end for this said character. We just got to see where it's going to go. But for now, though, I like the villain's motive. It's not completely unique, but it is entertaining, and I do want more of the character, because there's some fascinating elements about the character, little quirks and stuff that I want to see more of. Now, speaking of which, let's also talk about the environment, okay, this murder house. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but I've always loved, like, trap houses, hidden corridors and stuff. I don't know, I've always been a big sucker for, like, those mansions or castles that have, like, hidden passageways, like you could pull a book out and, you know, it rotates around, or, you know, there's a trap door that opens up that you would see in a villain's lair that leads to a shark pit or crocodile pit. You know, I like that type of stuff. Call it cliche, call it whatever you want. I do like that type of stuff, okay? And seeing how this house's design was, I'm like, that's definitely not going to be a very warm house, or, you know, I guess in the winter, and a very, you know, cold house in the summer because of the design of it. It doesn't look like it really has any insulation when we got to see inside the walls and tunnels and stuff, so it's probably not a really good hotel or motel to sleep in, but it is a very fascinating structure to the house. Just the little hallways with the person being able to open up like a part of the wall, go inside them and look at the different rooms and stuff to see what is going on. Very cool. Sugimoto and the Undefeated, the immortal Sugimoto, they go up against each other in this episode, and it was pretty savage. Like, it didn't go too well for Sugimoto. I mean, this man was getting manhandled, slung around like it was nothing, pushed into the ground. If it wasn't for the trap door that opened up, Sugimoto might have died. Like, it was pretty freaking bad. I mean, also, there was epic scenes, too. Like, Sugimoto, you know, tanking the needles that were going for Usurper and all that. Like, Usurper had no idea what was about to happen. But Sugimoto actually tanked the 2 needles in his fingers. Such, ow! Like, yo, that has to hurt! Like, I was like, ooh, like, when I saw, like, it's not like an eyeball thing or fingernail thing or anything like that, but just, like, seeing the needles go straight through the fingers, I'm like, those are some pretty sharp needles, because, I mean, go figure, you got a bone there, okay, that's a bone. I mean, yes, I know certain, you know, amount of force can penetrate your bones, but a needle like that, I mean, that must have been made of some really strong, like, metal to be able to insert through his freaking fingers, or some strong force throwing those needles to be able to go straight for his bone like that. But regardless, though, ouch. Like, freaking ouch. Okay, so, yeah, that's, basically it, I think, for this episode of Golden Kamuy. Let's see, we got the introduction to the villain, to the trap house, some comedy, oh, yes, Boner Sensei. Let's... So, we already know that Usurper got to see Sugimoto's junk in the last episode, or 2 episodes ago. You know, it's with the whole situation with the wells and all that, but Basically, in this episode, Asurpa gets a little bit drunk, and she's like, I've already seen, you know, a Chin-Chin. I've already seen one. And she just starts to blush, and Sugimoto's like, no, it was just tiny and all that because of the cold. It was cold. And I'm just like, yo, like, I love it. I just love how crude this series is. And I know not everybody's gonna like the crude humor of Golden Kamuy, because it's not gonna be for everyone. I know there's many out there. I have a couple of friends that do not like crude, you know, humor. So I can understand why some wouldn't like that, but it was funny seeing that just very crude conversation about Chin-Chins, and just like, this is why I love this series. This is like why I love this series, and I'm watching it each week, because it's so fun. But that's about it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this week's episode, be honest in the comments below. And if you like my content, please leave a like. And if you want to subscribe, you know, please subscribe. And I love you guys. Have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.